hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
Yes. Okay. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. There's demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
How could something as tame as that get the FCC chairman to go on a media campaign, threatening ABC that unless they sack Jimmy Kimmel, they'll have to take what's coming? He literally went on a right-wing podcast and warned, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way." That's not regulation. That's mobster talk. Straight from Trump's playbook. The message was simple: fire Kimmel, or kiss your merger goodbye. And let's talk about Brendan Carr, the FCC's very own flip-flopping free speech philosopher. In 2019, Carr tweeted, "Should government censor speech? Of course not." In 2021, he said, "No government official should ever be involved in newsroom decisions." In 2022, he said, "Political satire is one of the oldest and most important forms of free speech." And in December 2023, less than 2 years ago, Carr declared, "Free speech is the counterweight to government control. Censorship is the authoritarian's dream." That's the same Brendan Carr, the same guy now threatening ABC for airing jokes Trump doesn't like.
Our goal and our obligation here is to make sure that broadcasters are serving the public interest. And if there's local TV stations that don't think that running that programming does it, then they have every right under the law in their contracts to preempt it. And we'll see how this plays out. But I do think that, again, we're in the midst of a massive shift in dynamics in the media ecosystem for lots of reasons.
You know, when you look at the conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel, it appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. Frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or, you know, there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. A very reasonable, minimal step that can be taken. I mean, obviously, look, there's calls for Kimmel to be fired. I think, you know, you could certainly see a path forward for suspension over this. And again, you know, the FCC is going to have remedies that we could look at.
So what happened? Where is the real Brendan Carr? Did he get lost in MAGA land? Or is he locked in a basement somewhere while his evil twin runs around quoting Mussolini? This week's sudden suspension of Jimmy Kimmel shocked viewers worldwide. Corporate media made a choice. They folded under pressure. And the cost of that collapse is freedom of speech itself. Disney's ABC pulled Kimmel, not for ratings, not for advertisers, but because he dared to call out how the far right weaponizes tragedy. And a powerful machine pushed back. The pressure wasn't just social, it was institutional. Nexstar, a massive broadcaster mid-merger, announced it would stop carrying Kimmel. The FCC chair signaled consequences for any station that didn't fall in line. This isn't market pressure. This is censorship in corporate clothing. Let's be clear. This isn't about taste in comedy. It's about who gets to criticize power and who gets punished for it. Meanwhile, Fox and Friends host Brian Kilmeade suggested unhoused and mentally ill people should face involuntary lethal injection. His words, "Just kill him."
Who better than Brian Kilmeade, who 4 days ago said this?
Involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill him.
He later apologized. But let's be honest. When a mainstream host floats execution on live TV and keeps his job, Yet a comedian gets benched for mocking MAGA? That's not a double standard. That's authoritarian creep, and Republicans keep weaponizing tragedy. Marjorie Taylor Greene falsely claimed a killer was Antifa.
Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he lied on ABC about the identity of the man that Tyler Robinson that murdered, assassinated, martyred Charlie Kirk. He lied and said he was MAGA. Tyler Robinson was not MAGA, not one bit. He was part of Antifa. He was in a relationship. He was in a relationship with someone who identified as furry and trans.
And not to be outdone by Marjorie, the very bearded one, Ted Cruz blamed Democrats for violence without evidence. And Trump? He mocked Paul Pelosi, turned an attempted murder into a punchline, and spread conspiracy theories about the victim. That's not leadership. That's rot. And does anyone remember when this Uber MAGA said this?
The left wanted to make comedy illegal, you know? Like, you can't make fun of anything. So then it was like, comedy sucks. It's like, nothing's funny. You can't make fun of anything. It's like, legalize comedy. Yeah.
Welcome back to Pushback Network, where we cut through the spin and expose the truth the corporate media won't touch. This pattern isn't new. Nixon kept an enemies list. McCarthy kept a blacklist. Same playbook. Identify, isolate, punish, silence the rest. And Trump? He's importing the authoritarian manual. He praises Viktor Orban in Hungary, where opposition media was crushed. He calls Putin savvy and genius, as Putin turned journalism into a state-run echo chamber. Here at home, Trump weaponizes mergers and FCC leverage. He cheered when Colbert's show was canceled during a CBS merger. He called Kimmel talentless, predicted his firing, and demanded other critics be silenced. This is not random. It's a strategy. Exploit corporate fear, bend institutions, muzzle dissent. Remember, Disney once settled a Trump lawsuit against George Stephanopoulos instead of fighting. That taught Trump a lesson.
You have concerns about, some people look at this and your critics will say, well, this crackdown is a crackdown on free speech.
It's interesting. I watch your show and I watch others, and I see people saying things. They're crazy. These people are crazed lunatics, even the way they'll answer. It's like you'll see them, and the things they say are really bad. But they look crazy. Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
That lesson is threaten, sue, pressure, and corporations folds and cave in. Like a pack of cards, this isn't just politics. It's a constitutional crisis. When the marketplace of ideas becomes a marketplace of fear, democracy suffocates. But resistance doesn't come from corporate boards. It comes from independent media, from creators who won't sell their conscience, from citizens who refuse to be cowed. That's why Pushback Network exists, to amplify silenced voices, to hold power accountable, to keep truth alive when corporations try to bury it. If you believe in defending free speech and stopping authoritarian creep, hit subscribe, smash like, share this video with family, friends, and loved ones. Together, we grow. Together, we hold the line. Together, we push back. This is Pushback Network. Stay strong, stay informed, and keep pushing back.
Human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
Yes. Okay. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. There's demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
The point is that Kimmel's comments went way too far for some television executives. Not for me, not for you, but for them. And they turned up the heat on Kimmel, the host, to calm down the rhetoric.
The left wanted to make comedy illegal, you know? Like, you can't make fun of anything. So then it was like, comedy sucks. It's like, nothing's funny. You can't make fun of anything. It's like, legalize comedy. Yeah.
Did Kimmel really got canceled for those comments after MAGA has been screaming about free speech all these years? I personally don't believe that Kimmel's show got canceled because of those comments. Tell us what you think in the comment section. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that we can build this firewall. Thank you for watching.